back with you. Let's get a bit of a sense of the oil and gas sector, of course. The Dangote refinery is one big story in the news we're following this week. Of course, that is expected to take a very good chunk of Nigeria's domestic petrol products markets. When that comes on stream, we're expecting that to take about 40% of total market here. So, but looking at the companies listed on this market space, as the Big Seven is concerned, you heard MIS will be holding the facts behind the figures today. That small cap retailer selling 39.03 when the market finished off on Friday. The price largely unchanged, 8,604 units on the stock exchange. Will that anything change when the directors and the management of this company speak to the stock market community later today? We're looking at that very closely. Mobile shift of 5% on Friday. Owando added 7.66%. That was the green shoot that we had. That's quite a bit of a heavy volume, climbing back to 9 naira. Seplat unchanged, 390. Total shift just a notch, 0.02 to 2060. Portugal, of course, you saw there 46, and Corner is sitting at 34. Well, that's oil for the, whether you're using generator or whatever you're using that for, but we need fuel for the stomach as well. So that brings us to the commodities conversation, and this is the interesting part, whether it is breakfast, lunch, or dinner, whichever one you're having. Amaka Ajebo, who is one of the research analysts at Financial Derivatives. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me.
The month of May looks very interesting to me because it looks like the FX market was a little bit calm.
Yes.
So that's one event I can say we're positive, but every time folks still say, I can't see that in my bread and butter.
Yes, so prices, commodity prices remained relatively sticky downwards in that prices refused to budge even though there was forex scarcity in the market. So, like you said, major players in the market, so going into, let's say, Aja market, for example, when you go to buy gari or you go to buy rice, you find out that some of these commodity prices actually increased, especially for commodities like gari. So, those participants were always, would say, forex, yes, there's forex in the market, but, this is happening in this region in the east, something else is happening in the north, so that's why prices have remained the way they are.
So we can't blame foreign exchange every time for all our problems.
No, and if we date back to the Monetary Policy Committee, the meeting, the CBN Governor, Godwin Emefiele, actually implied that the forex market's influence on inflation was actually negligible to non-existent, because you see a revision in the inflation rate to 17.24%. Meanwhile, there was an increase in forex injected into the market of almost 69%. So where does that, how do we reconcile these figures? So yes, he would say that. But from our analysis, we believe that the reason why prices have remained sticky downwards is because some of these manufacturers, like I'm reiterating from past segments we've had, some of these manufacturers are just trying to capture their losses or lost margins that they had to survive with in 2016. So until this event has rolled over, we wouldn't see an impact on prices just yet.
Well, technically speaking, in other words, if I buy high and I sold low last year, or I made losses because of the FX.
Yes.
2017, okay, first quarter, second quarter, I just keep prices at that level, even if the exchange rate is a little bit more favorable to me as a retailer or as a commercial or as a merchant. Until I've been able to claw back a bit of 2016 into my inner pocket, then I can say, well, maybe price of a loaf of bread, standard size, sliced for that matter, which is my favorite, goes a bit from 300, maybe I'm going to do 250 or 280.
Yes, and also we should also acknowledge the fact that in the month of May we saw the persistence of a new trend, which is naira liquidity in the markets, coupled with rising interest rates. So even if these manufacturers want to bring down their prices, they've come across this stumbling block, which is naira liquidity. So even if they want to increase activity and move and bring down prices, they are still having to face this problem of naira liquidity, and we know this because they increased the novelty of injecting dollars into the market at the pace which the CBN started doing in February 20th has kind of reduced the amount of naira in the markets because people are trying to fund their dollar positions.
Yeah, that's what the banks, each time the central bank throws in money.
Yes.
Imagine last week, $392 million. Imagine how much
naira is
that
coming out, and then
sucks up from the system.
And we know there's a negative relationship between naira liquidity and interest rates in the market. So you see the OBB and the overnight rates going to as high as 200%, 100%. So yes.
Amazing. Last week we finished off right around 138%.
Exactly. So it's
how do I trade money market fund at 138%? Who buys that? Who's going to buy that money from me? It's too hard to handle. Just keep your fingers away.
Yes.
So that means market will be. But let's do this as we always do. Let's have some of these items locally on screen for the benefit of those who are viewers here at home. Whether it's palm oil or semolina or tomato or maize or gari, as you put them. Where are we? I'm always concerned about what happens between Lagos and elsewhere. That's where I live. So pardon me, everyone out there, if I'm a little bit sticky about Lagos. That's the center of Nigeria. I want to put it. Thank you, folks. Okay, so look at the prices as we speak. You spoke about gari earlier, and that's in the second column, the first item, isn't it?
Yes.
50 kilogram, 26,000.
Yes.
Okay, that's about a double my minimum wage. I don't know what your minimum wage really is, but it's about a double an average Nigerian's minimum wage.
Yes.
And just for rice, I'm just thinking just a little haircut of what the minimum wage is. Almost all these items are, except cement, are at the bottom of the of that page. This was coming from May, isn't it?
Yes, so these are week-on-week comparisons. So if you see, the prices have remained relatively flat. But if you do month-on-month comparisons, you see spikes in the prices of tomatoes, spikes in the prices of gari, of rice as well. And going back to previous segments, we see that the planting season is already underway. So if you want to buy tomatoes in the markets, you go in and they tell you, okay, a basket is 15,000, coming from lows of 10,000 a couple of months back. So yes, you're seeing this price increases in the markets due to some aberrational factors like closure